Last thing, gentlemen. Other night, you know what we do? It's our Black Four Horsemen debate of the day, and this is not pretty much about choosing this or that. This is just a debate, and I want to hear what you guys think about this. So I was reading Twitter and X, and this came about. MVP agrees that the WWE stole the Hurt gimmick and gave it to the Bloodline. And there's somebody on the right hand side here. It says that they took. Somebody said they took your gimmick and crew and gave it to the Bloodline. That's what happened. You guys were so cool. The suits, the attitude, and the gold, a complete unit. MVP chimed in and was like, "True story."
Yeah, and
so let's talk about it, man. What do you guys think? Do y'all think that given the string and the leeway that they gave the Bloodline, do you think that her business could have been something like the Bloodline?
Yeah, the problem with her business is because they came around, and it's almost time. They came around during the time of Vince McMahon transitioning out and Triple H coming back in. They kind of got lost in the shuffle. Now, another tweet I saw was that they blamed Vince McMahon for breaking into her business, and then they also said Triple H. What was it? I said Triple H could have fixed it. No, he said Vince McMahon took it down. MVP came back and said Triple H could have changed it, but he chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
So they said Triple H could have fixed it, but he chose not to. And then, so I wouldn't say they necessarily gave the gimmick to the Bloodline, because I think, listening to interviews, I think this is something Roman wanted to do for the longest, as far as bringing his family up, because when he was gone, right before COVID happened, and he was gone, he came back with the whole Rick Everybody and Lee shirt in the Performance Center. His goal when he came back was to elevate his cousin, which at the time was just the Usos. I think since then it expanded by bringing in other family members. I think the problem with the Hurt business is just that, you can say what it is four black guys on the top of the card. I didn't think at the time. I don't think Vince saw them as those guys in suits. We already know how Vince feels about black wrestlers and athletes and stuff. He has to put them in a certain stereotypical box, whether they're playing a pimp or a gangster or any old black. What you say? Any old black stereotypes.
No, I'm sorry. Something just came. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he didn't see them in the suit and tie business professional guys that they were. So I think Vince, basically ruined that gimmick before he really got started.
I think that's trash, because I also read that Ricochet was actually supposed to be there. They wanted Ricochet in instead of
Cedric
Alexander, and who knows what that would have been for Ricochet career.
Right.
If that would have been a thing, that would have gave. It kind of would have been almost like the same, because of the high flying. Because Cedric can go too. They've been showing Cedric and Ashanti Adonis, backstage and ringside and stuff like that. Go ahead and put them in TNA, not TNA, but NXT. Hell, send them over to TNA too. Let them build themselves up, and then come in as just an additional tag team to expand their roster or whatever. But I wish they would have did if Her Business, because the Her Business, like the Bloodline and stuff like that, because that would have put a lot of black wrestlers up on a platform, and we could have pulled it off. They already had the did Bobby have the title, and they had tag titles too?
Yeah, at one point,
all of them had and stuff like that, and I think they just dropped the ball with it, and they trying to make it up with this whole pride BS, and that just did not get off. It does not work at all.
But why not bring them back? And but okay, let's flip it for a second. If I'm not mistaken, Roman was forming the Bloodline during the pandemic, which the Hurt Business, if I'm not mistaken, it came a little after that, right?
Yeah, it was shortly after, because I remember the Hurt Business came around when COVID first hit, and they were doing all the shows out of the Performance Center. And I remember reading the reason why they was on TV so much because it was them, Bianca, and the Street Profits. The reason why they was on TV so much is because they lived in the area. They didn't have to worry about flying wrestlers in because of COVID and getting tested and all that kind of stuff. So they would have 2 or 3 segments every night on Raw and SmackDown, just those handful of people. And that's where the Hurt Business first started. Again, because they all was together. Now, back to what Ricky said, I saw something too. MVP wanted Cedric Alexander and Ricochet, but then they told him you could only pick one. And he decided to go with Ced because he figured Ricochet was better off, could do things. I was already doing things on his own, so he didn't really need it. But
I think the Hurt Business probably would have stuck around if they had one more major player. You know, because you put, you know, Shelton is Shelton. You got to give it to him. You know, Bobby. But then Cedric.
Yeah.
You gotta, and I couldn't see, even if they brought the Hurt Business back, it'll only be for a short time because it'll fizzle out. Even though we want to see it, them white folk don't want to see it. They don't want to see it.
And not even that, I'm curious to see why MVP hasn't been on TV in a while. Now I know usually he comes around when Omos comes around. But yeah, he's been on Twitter tweeting more than he's been on TV. So I don't know what
if you can redo it, who would you guys put in the Hurt Business now? With Bobby as the anchor.
See, I think that's the issue. You can't if you put a max on that, then it wouldn't have ever been like the Bloodline. I think the excitement of the Bloodline was what's about to happen next. So if you had original 4 and then later Ricochet came in, and then later the Street Profits came, but then you basically got a Nation of Domination. They don't want all them black folks in there like that. You know what I'm saying?
The Nation was hot. And then it produced the final boss, technically. You know what I'm saying? The Nation was what it was.
But you also think about it back to the Nation. You also had another feuding faction with them. You had DX faction, their rival. And I think the problem with that is Hurt Business didn't really have a rival. They had individual people that were going after.
They do now.
Yeah,
you got the Bloodline. You got the Bloodline now. You got Karrion Kross now. You got all these other stuff that you can do with it.
But the Bloodline didn't have a faction.
I'm talking about now.
Individual. No, I'm saying that shouldn't have been a reason not to push the Hurt Business through, because the Bloodline goes against individuals. Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, all those folks was individuals that formed a unit, but they didn't have an actual faction that they were going against. So if they wanted Hurt Business to work, it could have, but I don't think. But
to answer your question, I mean, if we're just picking folks, I mean, I would love drop the whole Pride name. You get Bobby the Street Profits and bring Omos in, and you can, in my opinion, you can call them Hurt Business then, or you call them, I don't even call them Hurt Business 2.0 or a different name. But because here's the thing, you have your muscle in Omos, not necessarily your muscle, your intimidating force in Omos, whether he's stepping in the ring or not. Then you got your tag team and your athleticism with the Street Profits, and you got your muscle, your strength, and leadership with Bobby.
I add Carmelo to it.
Yeah, he's kind of doing his own thing right now, but yeah, I can see that.
I wouldn't do Omos because Omos can't wrestle.
Well, that's that. If you put him in a group, then he don't have to wrestle all the time. So his presence alone, when he comes onto the screen, he making people turn the channel to see what he's gonna do.
You make me turn the channel on another way.
I do. One of y'all gonna say it.
Concession stand.
What I love about factions. Like forever, probably my favorite faction is going to be the 4 Horsemen. When you talk about 4 true, pure wrestlers,
hence our name.
And then you think about DX, you think about the Shield. You got all the folks can go.
The Fabulous Freebirds, homie.
Man. That's everybody can go. you don't have to wonder. You don't have to. Nobody has to pull anybody else's weight. That's what I like about that. Omos, bro, he trash, man. I mean, he's an intimidating figure, but in the ring,
But think
It's
about
just
it.
not. It's not
y'all-
interesting.
Have y'all thought about this? Triple H / Shawn Michaels. They have not hired big men like that. I think that's a Vince thing. Vince like
It is.
No, Vince deal on them big.
7 foot.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
300-pound people.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
It just couldn't be 6'8" for some reason. They said Vince hated people who were 6'8".
That's crazy. Like he's very specific about being 6'8".
Right. It could
I
be
never
6'7".
heard that.
It could be 6'9".
I thought y'all were really joking. Are you serious?
No, I heard that in I want to say maybe a podcast. It said that if you were 6'8", he wouldn't take you. I don't think he even like folks to say 6'8".
You lie about your height.
He
Oh,
must
real-
have wanted to
real
be
quick.
6'8".
And I don't want to change the subject too much, but you mentioned something about the Fabulous Freebirds, so maybe go back and think about the Von Erich movie. Did y'all realize that MJF was in that movie for like 3 seconds?
I was looking for him the whole movie.
Bro, it's literally like a cut scene. Well, not a cut scene, but like, you know how you got a full screen, then you have in the corner of another thing, you have 2 different scenes going on. He's up in the corner where you see Kevin. He tagged with Kevin Von Erich. Kevin Erich is kind of depressed. On like tag me in. It's in the character MJF playing, where he just suplexing people. And he's literally in there for like 3 seconds. You don't even see a close up of his face.
I heard he was in there, but I did not see him.
And
I'm
he
gonna go back and look at
executive
this.
produced-
I remember that
executive
part.
produced the movie too.
Right, he was a producer, and he missed like a month of show on AEW
For that
on the
one
film,
scene.
For that one little scene, yeah.
No, he missed it because he was an executive producer. Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe.
I did.
I was like,
That one thing. Well, it makes that one look thing.
right, y'all can just maybe y'all can mail me my check. You know what I'm saying? So,
Look, I promise I'll be a fan over there, and they paying to me. And
This
somebody
MJF
like
in the movie.
fall in my lap, and I'm like, "Rah," and
This
they
him
pay
in
me.
the movie, y'all. That's it.
and matter of fact, when the camera first goes on, it shows his back. You don't see his face until he runs somebody into the rope. So he get ready to close like that, and that's when he turn around and you see his face.
And that was the most horrific wig I ever seen.
He was playing the Von Erich, so they had the big hair.
No,
Hold on.
listen,
Okay,
I mean, talk
and
about
we-
everybody. Go ahead.
We done. Let me finish this. Did y'all notice the Ric Flair that was in the movie?
I heard
That
people
was
I was
He
just
was
finna,
hard.
I was just,
He was
I
hard.
was just finna say that because all these other people that they were portraying and stuff
Yeah.
like that almost as worse as this Clipper series
Yeah.
that people are portraying like
It's that
Blake
bad.
Griffin
The
and
guy playing Chris Paul and stuff.